quote, and it reads like this: "It takes a lot of courage to push through hard times. Never give up. Good things are coming your way." With that in mind, I was actually on social media, and I was watching this beautiful black brother. He was working at FedEx, and he experienced a level of discomfort that when he expressed his emotions on that platform, you really felt his pain. You really didn't have to go through what he went through to feel what he experienced. Tears were streaming down his face. He was a young man, probably in his 20s. He said, "I was getting ready to deliver this package to this home. And as I was getting out my car to deliver this package to this house," he said, "somebody rolled by and spit on him." It was powerful because you felt that in the video. He had so much pain, so much hurt, that when they spit on him, they drove off. And not only did they spit on him, but they called him the N-word. It actually just broke my heart just watching the video because I felt his pain. But he was crying and he was frustrated at the moment. One thing that he did that was surprising to me, because I would like to suggest to you that many of us, even if you say you are a Christian, you're going to respond in a way of anger. You'll respond in a way of, "I got to get back." But this brother was in a place where he said, "I just don't understand why we're here." It's amazing because at that point, at that place, he got back in his truck. He began to let his emotions go. But one thing that was powerful is he said, "I got to go back to work." I want to suggest to you, because many of us, the enemy is trying to do everything he can to get you off your focus and to get you off your goal that God has for you. This young man pushed his way through the dilemma and the problem that he was facing. I want to ask you a question this morning. Are you pushing your way through? Are you pushing your way through the situations that you are going through? Are you pushing your way through the hard times that you are experiencing? Because I want to suggest to you that the enemy will do everything he can to get you to stand still. But I thank God that I'm around people and I'm speaking to people that have a mindset that say, "I'm going to push my way through. No matter what happens, no matter what people think, no matter what people say, I'm going to push my way through it." With this in mind, you have to be in this mind frame of pushing your way through. I know it doesn't feel right. I know you can't stand it. You getting tired of people telling you got to keep fighting. But I want to suggest to you, if you don't keep fighting, then who will? You got to learn how to make up in your mind that I have to push, I have to fight, because what God has for me, it will be for me. With that in mind, I'll be talking about this powerful text this morning. We're getting ready to get right into the word. I'm not even going to take you up long. In Matthew 9:18, we begin. It says, "As he finished saying this, a local official appeared, bowed politely, and said, 'My daughter has just died.'" This is powerful. The first thing that is revealed in the text is the posture of the one that is submitting his request. The text only gives us a glimpse of the man's hierarchy in the community. We do know that this man is established. We do know he's a leader in that community. But some way, somehow, he is put in a posture that he is bowing down. I want to talk to three of you in this room, wherever you are, that life will make you bow down. I know sometimes if you're not careful, you'll be in a place where you are so high that God got to bring you low. I know what you don't understand, that sometimes that those places where you have been put down, that are the best places where you give God praise. There's some places in your life that sometimes you can't praise God like you want to when you got everything. But when stuff starts happening in your life, when frustration starts happening in your life, that's when you begin to bow down. You're going to have to bow down, whether you like it or not. Every knee shall bow. Every tongue shall confess that he is Lord. I know that many of you don't realize it right now, but life has many of us bowing down. With that in mind, James 4:10, the New Living Translation, it says, "Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up." With that in mind, you got to be at a place of understanding that the only way up in God's economy is if you bow down. I know you don't want to get there because many of us have not bowed down in a while. Many of us want people to bow down to us. But I want you to understand that God wants you to be in a place where you submit to him. When you bow down to him, that's when God will open doors in your life that you never thought would be open. But I got to bow down. I can't be expecting God to do something for me. I got to give God my best worship and praise. I love this. With this in mind, has life ever humbled you? Has life ever put you into a place where you didn't know how that situation would turn around? This is where this official was. He had a need that he needed to be met. He tried everyone he could. He tried the doctors. He had the money. He tried everybody that he could. But what happens when the very people that you try can't help you? What happens when the very people that got the degree can't give you the solution that you're looking for? I want to suggest to you that sometimes you're looking for people to help you when the only help you're going to get is coming from the Lord. I got to take it to the old church, because the old church, they didn't have all the stuff that we have today. But when they called on that name Jesus, all of a sudden something happened. When they called on Jesus, all of a sudden they got healed. When they called on Jesus, all of a sudden situations began to change. You need to learn how you need to call back on Jesus. Jesus, I need you to show up. Jesus, I need you to come to my rescue. Jesus, I need you to show out. Somebody type just Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I love this. In Matthew 9:18, it reads, bowed politely and said, my daughter has just now died. This text is so powerful. He bowed down and told Jesus his daughter has just died. I would like to suggest to you that this man's house was broken. I know I'm not talking about the house of brick and clay. No, I'm talking about his house, his physical, spiritual house has been broken. Has life ever broken you? Has life ever broken you to a point where you didn't know what was going to happen? Has life ever broken you? Because I want you to understand that many of us have plans, but all of a sudden, what happens when your plans have been broken? What happens when you don't know what's going to happen next? What happens when you plan for things to go right and it doesn't go right? This is what this man was. He had a daughter that he thought would be healthy, but all of a sudden, she is now in need. It's crazy because many of you have been there. You've been in places in your life where you've been broken, but God has still allowed you to operate on broken pieces. I know that you don't understand it. Matter of fact, you don't even look like what you've been through. How is it that you got a smile on your face when you're broken? How is it that you can still clap your hands when you're broken? How is it that you still can stay focused when you're broken? The only reason why I can do what I'm doing, because I got this joy that I have. The world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away. I got joy. Even in my broken places, I got joy. Even when life gets on my last nerves, I got joy. With this in mind, I love this. Matthew 9:18, it reads, my daughter has just now died. The question is, what did his daughter die of? What caused her to be put in this place? The text doesn't reveal to us the details, but we do know her position. But the key here is that in order for her father to see Jesus, tragedy had to happen. I would like to suggest to you that many of us would never see Jesus unless that tragedy happened. I was in a place last week, and I told my wife, I said, baby, I got to go downtown. My wife said, what you talking about, Jay? I said, I got to go downtown. I got to march with the people. My wife started laughing at me. She said, Josh, you ain't going downtown. I said, yeah, I'm going downtown. And as the day got closer, I got my bag on. It was about 7 o'clock. I told my family, I said, I'm going downtown. I'm getting ready to go. Got my book bag, put some water in my book bag, got my hat on. I said, we getting ready to see what's popping out here in these streets. Next, I told my wife, I said, baby, I'm going down. She said, you going? Well, I'm coming too. I said, no. Who going to take care of the kids? She said, no, we all coming together. I said, no, what we're going to do is this. I'm going to drive my car. You drive yours. She got in the car. She went downtown with me. What's crazy is when I went down there, people were gathering together. But what happened was me and my wife, we stayed on the line the whole time because she said, Josh, if something pop off, I know where your phone is at, and I am going to meet you there. And if something jump off, we all going to be fighting together. It was crazy because she crazy as I am. But I was in a place where I'm walking, and what I saw was people were coming together in the midst of tragedy. People to come together in the midst of a chaotic situation. Ain't it crazy that in tragedy, God could turn tragedy into triumph? I know you don't understand where I'm coming from, but I saw people all together that were saying something has to change. And I want many of you to understand that many of you on this line right now, and you believing something got to change. It can't be the same. We can't be the same. We have to go to another level. And I would like to suggest to you, if you don't want to change, then you got to get out the way. If you don't want to change, we're trying to move forward. I press towards the mark of the high calling. I can't stay where I am. I have to go where God has called me to be. This in mind, Matthew 9:19, I'm in the Message Bible. It says, if you come and touch her, she will live. That's cold-blooded. We don't know this official's name or religious affiliation. All that we do know is that he says, come and touch her. We cannot overlook that he was a synagogue official. He was in the room discussing Jesus and what he had done, only to diffuse it and say that it wasn't real. With this in mind, this man that was against Jesus is now the same man that needs a touch from Jesus. Many of you are looking like this man and you judging him. You in a place of being judgmental. You saying, now how in the world can he be in a place where he's trying everything else, but now all of a sudden the last thing that he tries is Jesus? Look at him. He gonna try Jesus at the end. But many of you, it's funny that we're all the same, because many of us, we used to try people. We tried jobs. We tried money. We tried cars. And none of those things could fulfill us. But when we called on Jesus, he filled us, and now we overflow. We in a place where when I call on Jesus, something happens inside of me. See, you don't see what's happening inside of me. But when I call on that name, something begins to give me some joy. When I call that name, I don't have to be in a building full of people clapping. I'm clapping myself. When I call that name, I don't care what's happening in my life. He gives me a peace that surpasses all understanding. I need somebody to call that name Jesus. I got to call that name. I love this, man. Here it is. Here it is. He said, if you come and touch her, she will live. That's cold-blooded. With this in mind, this man, again, was against Jesus, is now in the same place, but he understood that if I could get just a touch, I could get my mind back. Just like this woman, if you are in a place in your life that you need a touch, you just say, Jesus, I need you to touch me. I need you to touch me to get my mind back. I need you to touch me to get my focus back. I need you to touch me to get my determination back. Somebody say, I just need a touch. I just need a touch. I need a touch. Matthew 9:19, Message Bible. Watch this. It says, Jesus got up and went with him. Woo! This cold, let the disciples follow along. Here's the key in the text. Jesus got up. I want to talk to 3 people in this room. Somebody should have just got your wig and put it to the side because it's getting ready to fall off. Some of you should have got to a place, because see, one thing you got to understand, you don't have to understand what I'm going through, but you do understand that I got to praise. You got to realize this, is that Jesus got up. He didn't have a conversation. He didn't try to figure it out. He got up, and I want many of you to understand, just like that situation, God is getting up to your situation. He sees what you're going through. He sees the pain that you're going through, and he got up. And I don't think you understand what I just said. He not only gets up, but what God does, he walks with you. Can I take you back to the old school? He walks with me and he talks with me. See, many of you don't understand. Even when you're wrong, Jesus got up. Even when you're out of position, Jesus got up. He's with you right now, and I need you right where you are to give God praise, because he got up. He got up. And that's the reason why I know it. Watch this. Watch this. I love this. Here we are. The faith. Watch this. He says, now what is key in the text is not Jesus' response to the man, but his response to his daughter's condition. Watch this. This man, please hear me, he went on behalf of his daughter. I'm preaching much better than y'all responded. He did not go on behalf of himself. He went on behalf of his daughter. I got to say it one more time for the hard of hearing. He did not need a healing for himself. He needed healing for his daughter. What's amazing is, again, this man was against Jesus to a certain degree. He didn't even believe in Jesus. But what happened was, he came to Jesus with just a little bit of faith. How is it that he came to Jesus with faith that had nothing to do with him? All he needed, faith the size of a mustard seed. I want many of you to understand in this house that God is just looking for you to bring a little bit of faith. See, many of you on this line, you ain't asking God for nothing for yourself. You asking God to bless somebody else. I understand you don't get what I'm saying, but what God's saying is when he blesses the person that you're praying for, he's getting ready to bless you too. And I need many of you to understand God is getting ready to shift some things in your life. Stuff is not going to be the same. Your healing starts today. But you got to receive it. I love this. Here it is. Here it is. Watch this. This is powerful. Matthew 9:20, Message Bible. It says, for 12 years, slipped in from behind and lightly touched. I love this. Let me go back. I love this. Just then, the woman had been hemorrhaged. She had 12 years, slipped in from behind and lightly touched his robe. The text says that on his way, Jesus experienced an interruption. That's cold-blooded. How is it that Jesus experienced an interruption? This woman who's in a place where she's bleeding profusely is in a place where she has a condition that she needs Jesus to show up in. Now what she does is she interrupts a movement that's already happening. I want many of you to understand that when you are in need of something to happen, not tomorrow, not next week, but right now, you will interrupt the schedule of what the enemy is trying to put in your life. This what's happening is this woman is saying, I got to get my blessing and I got to get it now. That's cold-blooded, because many of you in that same place, you saying, God, if don't nobody else need a blessing, I need a blessing. If don't nobody else need a miracle, I need a miracle. Here it is. She's in this place. She's bleeding. She's in this place where she's in a hurtful situation. But I want to suggest to you, I don't mean this literally, but I want to hit you figuratively. Many of you are in a place right now, please hear me, that you're bleeding. Mm-hmm. You're bleeding. You hurt, so you hurt people. You're bleeding. You're mad, so you like people to be mad. You're bleeding. You frustrate, so you frustrate people, you're bleeding. You won't raise with both your parents, so you'll have pain. Even if you had parents, you got pain from what they did to you, so you transfer it to people that's in your life, you're bleeding. Many of us in this room and on this line, you are bleeding, and what's happening is, the crazy thing is, you don't even know it. At least this woman did know it. The question is, can you call on God to say, God, fix me from the inside out? God, I need you to fix me with stuff that I can't see, because, God, I'm bleeding. I got stuff going on in me that needs to be fixed. God, if you don't show up, I'm going to mess up stuff that you blessed me with. God, I need you to fix me from the inside out. I need to be fixed. This woman, she was bleeding. Matthew 9:21, Mesh Bible says, she was thinking to herself, if I could just put a finger on his robe, I'll get well. Jesus turned. I wish you just caught. This ain't in my notes, but it's so cold-blooded. I'm having a good time. I don't care if y'all ain't. But he said, Jesus turned. Woo, that's cold-blooded. Ain't it powerful that you could be going in a place in your life and God would turn to your direction? I wish you would understand. In other words, God would stop heaven and earth to respond to your call. I don't think you just heard what I said, because the text says that Jesus turned. Now, mind you, he was already on his way to bless somebody else, but he saw her situation and he turned to her. I want to suggest to you on this line that God is getting ready to turn to your situation. Your prayers are getting ready to be answered. God is getting ready to respond to your call. I love that. Cold-blooded. Watch this. It's cold. He said, oh my God. Ooh, this is some good work. This has so much preaching possibilities. He said he caught her in it. Can I break this down? So Jesus not only turned, but he caught her. Can I talk about three people? I'm just preaching to myself. Aren't you glad that God caught you? Aren't you glad that when you were falling apart, God caught you? Aren't you glad when you thought you were going to lose your mind, he caught you? Aren't you glad when you were slipping, he caught you? Because I want you to understand, you didn't catch yourself. When they broke your heart, God caught you. When they told you they want nothing, he caught you. When the job let you go, he caught you, because God said, when I only catch you, I'm getting ready to bring you up again. I need somebody on this line to give God praise and say, he caught me. Here it is. Watch this. Matthew 9:22. It's powerful. Mesh Bible says, then this cold-blooded Jesus, he reassured her. Courage, daughter. You took a risk of faith, and now you're well. The woman was well from then on. The text says, then he reassured her. In other words, he restored confidence in her. Now, what is powerful about the text is that Jesus never spoke to her. He didn't have to know her predicament, but he did know her pain. Like this woman, God knows. He knows what you're going through. He knows when people are getting on your last nerves. He knows when your marriage is on the rocks. He knows when people ain't respecting you. He knows when people talking about you behind your back. But what I love about God, back into the previous text, Jesus got up, and what did he do? He walked with him. One thing you got to understand, you can't fight battles on your own. The battle is not yours, but it's the Lord's. Don't try to get back. Don't try to fight back. Say, God, I need you to show up. Watch what happens is when God shows up to your situation, you don't have to worry about what's going to happen next. God said, I got control of it all. I don't know my future, but I know who controls my future. That's why when sometimes I might be confused, I don't know what's going on, I say, God, I need you to handle it. When God shows up, he will put you in a place of peace. And that's why you should be praising God. I could lose it all, but at least I got my peace. I could be in a place of frustrating times, but at least I have my peace. Here it is. Watch this. Matthew 9:22. It says, you took a risk of faith and now you're well. The woman was well from then on. This woman took a risk of faith to get well. In other words, she was willing to risk it all at all costs to get what Jesus had for her. Like this woman, are you willing to take a risk? Are you willing to take a risk to get what God has for you? Are you waiting for somebody to give you something that you don't need or you haven't earned? Because see, what God is saying right now, in order for you to get something, you're going to have to push your way through. You got to push your way through to a point where you say, I can't take it no more. You got to push your way through. See, many of you don't want to push your way through. You expect people to give you everything, but I got to fight for what's mine. And see, sometimes people don't understand your struggle, but they never had to walk in your shoes. And sometimes you fight, sometimes you cry, but you had to push all your life. I'm pushing my way through. And see, if you understand what I've been through, then you wouldn't try to judge my praise. And many of you at home right now, you got your hands lifting because tears streaming down your face. You had to push your way through for everything you got. When you cut on the TV, you see people, tears streaming down their face, and you can relate. You may not be in the streets with them, but you kind of can relate through the pain that they're going through. Some of us are operating in painful situations, but I think that when I lift my hands, God takes the weight. I need somebody, wherever you are, to praise God, because everything that you've gone through, everything that you had to endure, it's only made you the great person that you are today. God is getting ready to do great things through your life, but you got to push your way through. Love the Message Bible. It says like this. By now, they had arrived at the house. Here it is. Out of town official, and pushed their way through. The gossips looking for a story, this cold-blooded, and the neighbors bringing in casseroles, this cold-blooded, this good. Now, what is key here is that Jesus comes where they are. I would like to suggest to you that at this time, these people that were in this town, they were against Jesus too. They didn't walk with Jesus. They watching him. They like, who is this cat? Ain't this the cat that this leader was talking about? Ain't this the same Jesus that he was talking trash about? How in the world is he on the way to the house? But what you got to understand, when you're in a place of desperate times, you got to go through desperate measures. He didn't care what nobody thought. He said, I got to get Jesus in the house. And I want to suggest to you that no matter what people think, you better get Jesus in your house, because people going to judge you. They're going to talk about you. But what he was looking for was a miracle that they couldn't perform. And see, when I'm calling on God, I got to do things that's going to make people uncomfortable. You may not understand my mindset, but God, I need you to show up in my life. Here it is. The Message Bible says, Matthew 9:20 said, and push their way through. I want to suggest to you that there is going to be a season in your life where you're going to have to push your way through the hurt, push your way through the pain, push your way through the frustrating times. One thing that I love to do during this pandemic, it's actually gotten me off of my weightlifting time. I was lifting my weights. I was getting my bench press. I was getting good. I said, oh, man, told my wife, baby, how I look. She was like, baby, you looking good. I said, yeah, I'm in there. But then all of a sudden, the pandemic hit. I ain't been to the gym. And now I'm seeing all my muscle mass seem like it's going bye. But now I've been running like crazy now. So I get 18 to 20 miles in per week. Try to get it in, 18 to 20 miles in per week. And I run outside, I try to get it in. But one thing that happens is, when I finally get to that 6th mile, I get to a point where I'm about to fall apart because I can't take it. I feel like this ain't gonna work, but one thing I got that music is pumping, and I'm listening to my records, I'm going, but my feet, they're getting weighty on me. I'm running a little sluggish, but somehow, some way, I gotta push myself to the finish line. Now, you gotta understand this. Many of you are just like me. There are some times where you feel like you can't make it to the finish line. You feel like you're gonna fall apart, but somehow, some way, you've made it to the finish finish line. And you saying, Pastor Jay, what you talking about? It's some stuff that you made it through that people only knew your story. They will praise for you right where you are. But see, many of you don't want to recognize there's some hell that you had to go through, but you made it to the finish line. There's some drama that you had to endure, but you made it to the finish line. There's some failures that you had experienced, but you made it to the finish line. What God wants you to understand, if you made it through that finish line, don't you believe you're going to make it through the next? God's trying to tell you, get ready for your next. God is getting ready to perform a miracle in your life that nobody going to be able to say only God could do a thing like that. Matter of fact, I want to suggest to many of you, you are a miracle. How do I know you're a miracle? Because you still got health in your body. You still got food on your table. You still got clothes on your back. Somebody type, I am a miracle. I'm a miracle. I love this. Watch this. Here it is, Matthew 9:23. This is so cold-blooded. It says, the gossips looking for a story and the neighbors bringing in casseroles. Jesus and the disciples walked into a crowd of people that were carrying in food, but were actually looking to carry out gossip. With this in mind, be careful of what you allow people to carry in and out of your house. I'm preaching much better than you responding. You think I'm talking about your physical brick and clay. No, I'm talking about your house. Because, see, I want to suggest to you that there are many people that you have in your life, they are weight carriers, and then there are people that come in to drop off luggage. I'm going to say that from the heart here. There are many people in your life that are weight carriers, and then there are other people that drop off luggage. My question is, if you can be real, right off the top, who are the weight carriers in your life? Because the weight carriers, they can see you going through pain and not tell nobody about it. And they'll call on Jesus and pray with you. But the people that drop off luggage, they'll listen to your pain and tell you their problems as well. And you feel like you have more weight on your shoulders before they came there, and they leave it at your home. I want to suggest to you, I need weight carriers in my life. In the next season of your life, you need people that's going to hold you up, not bring you down. There's some people in your life right now that have dropped luggage on you. But I want to suggest to you that God is getting ready to give you an answer. Watch this. Let's follow in the word. Jesus was abrupt. The Message Bible says, he said, clear out. Whoa, that's cold-blooded. I wish I had somebody that was praising me. See, I want to suggest, watch this in the word. This is New Living Translation. He said, he saw the noisy crowd and heard the funeral music. He said, get out. In other words, there's some stuff in you that has to get out. There's some drama in you that has to get out. There's some luggage in your house that has to get out. There's a past that has to get out. Somebody type, get out. I got to get it out of me. Because in order for me to go to the next level that God has for me, some stuff has to get out. Because I can't lift my hands when I got luggage weighing me down. I can't lift my hands when I got hurt still inside of me. But when that stuff gets out of me, I can say, God, I give you my life. God, I give you the best praise. God, I'm going to continue to focus on what you have for me. I love this. The text says, 9:25. It says like this. It says, this girl isn't dead. She's sleeping. They told him he didn't know what he was talking about. Can I stop right there? Because the previous text says they were playing funeral music. So they were already celebrating the death. See, there's some people in your life that are celebrating your death. They're celebrating your downfall because they don't think you're going to make it. See, a lot of people don't think you should have made it to this day. People thought after that divorce you would break. People thought after they broke up with you that you wouldn't make it. But ain't it crazy that the very funeral that they planned for you becomes the life celebration that you are now dancing in? Because many of you dancing right now, people can't see it. Because there's a praise that's going on inside of you. You saying, I ain't even what I'm getting ready to be. But once I finally get to my next level, you will only say, only God could do a thing like that. How in the world did he survive cancer? How in the world did he survive that car accident? How in the world did she survive that broken heart? Because God did it for me. Here it is. Come on, text. He said, watch this. They told him he didn't know what he was talking about. But when Jesus had gotten rid of the crowd, Pop, this is so cold-blooded. The text says that when Jesus got rid of the crowd, in other words, the crowd had to go. I want to suggest to you that there's some stuff that got to go in your life. There's some clutter that's in you that has to go. It cannot stay in you within this season. Watch this. The text says, he went in, took the girl's hand, and pulled her to her feet. That's cold-blooded. The text says that when the crowd left, that's powerful. There are some things that have to leave you in order for God to get to you. The text says he pulled her to her feet. Ain't you glad that in your darkest moments that God pulled you to your feet? I know you don't understand what I'm saying, but how is it that you're still at this place where life has broken to you, it's hurt you, you lost your job, money's low, then all of a sudden a pandemic happens, then all of a sudden when you cut on the TV, all you see is African Americans being treated in a place that we shouldn't be treated in. And on top of that, you're still able to operate. God is saying, I'm going to pull you to your feet. Watch this. And not only is he going to pull you to your feet, but he's going to pull everybody connected to you to your feet. I want you to understand this. What God is getting ready to do through your life, it's not about you. I'm telling you, what God is getting ready to perform in your life, it's not about you. But what it is for you to have is a better testimony. You went through that test. You went through that pain so you can have a better testimony. Text says he pulled her to her feet. And what I love about it, it says she was alive. I want many of you to understand right now, God is getting ready to pull you to your feet again, and you're getting ready to be alive. Alive so you can give him glory. Alive to give him praise. Alive to give him true worship. But he got to pull you to your feet. In this season of your life, wherever you are, you're going to have to push your way through. I don't know what your situation is. It may not even be the pandemic. You might be dealing with suicidal thoughts. You're going to have to push your way through. You might be dealing with hurt that has nothing to do with anybody else, and you don't understand the pain that you are experiencing. You're going to have to push your way through. You're dealing with stuff that sometimes make tears stream down your face. You're going to have to push your way through. The thing is, you got to get this in your mind. Whether you want to realize it or accept it or not, you've been pushing all your life. Since you've been in this world, you've been pushing your way through. You've been pushing your way through to try to get to the next level, next grade, next opportunity. But God is telling you that this season of your life, you're going to push, but he's going to assist you in the pushing. God's getting ready to open up doors in your life that you never thought would be open. He's getting ready to rain down showers of blessings on your life. But get ready. Your miracle is coming. Can I pray for you? Let us pray.
See you there.